Airsoft GI would like to thank our sponsors.
All right, we are here at my favorite spot at this field, next to the airplane, and we have our good friend Spartan 117 GW. Greg Wong, you are here because, well, you gave us a ride from the airport because you're a cool guy, but you are here to give us your insight because you, out of everybody, well, between Ross and I and you, are the only one that have played here before. So tell us what your experience was like the first time you came here.
Now, the experience that I had, basically, there's about 100 players here, and it actually filled a lot of the battle space up pretty well. We had multiple objectives throughout the day, generally single-point objectives and gameplay-wise, but one of the things I noticed that was really helpful, as you can see, there's a lot of low-light areas. You're going to want something to loom, some kind of like light or a laser, some kind of aiming device that's going to help you out. One thing that also that is very interesting about this field, it may look like a CQB field, and there's definitely moments of CQB because there's lots of buildings, but usually your entire team or a good portion of your team will be securing these whole buildings in entirety. So there's a lot of building-to-building fighting. So it's kind of similar, as I would describe to it, like a mout town or something like that. So a lot of the fighting is street to street, building to building. You're really going to want to work on your high-lows on these corners here, having two guys on each corner just kind of sweeping that street, and then having your guys leapfrog across to the other side, and then basically controlling the streets. Because the way this field is laid out, it's like a grid. You have street 1 through 4, 1st Avenue, all the way through 4th, and you have Alpha through Delta. If you control these high lanes of traffic, you're going to control a lot of the field.
Okay, so you highly recommend the use of flashlights because of the lighting scenario. Teamwork is also important, like you mentioned, to be able to leapfrog around the field. What would you recommend for a player that's coming to TVB5 to use as their gun? Let's say, for example, me. I have an M4, everything from a 10-inch to my full-length M16. What would you recommend to use on this field to be most effective?
You know, with this field, there's actually a lot of really long-distance shots, so anything from a 14.5 down to 10-inch. I personally prefer the 10-inch because it makes entry to these buildings easier. You're really going to want something that shoots 350 to get the most effect of the field. To make entry with some of these buildings, you need something that shoots 350 and below. So something like a CQR or a G&G combat machine will do you just fine. But there's definitely, if you feel like playing outside of the buildings more, then go with something that shoots 400. You'll be able to control the streets a little bit better. But if you feel like kicking in some doors and making some entry, go with something in 10-inch, 350 FPS, and you'll be good to go.
Excellent. Thank you for your expert insight, Greg, and thanks for picking us up from the airport. And thanks for dropping us off later on today.